Hi, I'm Maya. I am a Blandings turtle. I am here to give you a tour of my very special home in the Long Point World Biosphere. Here are a few things you need to know before we start. Long Point Peninsula is the longest freshwater sand spit in the world. It's home to the largest variety of plants and animals in Canada. The area is a world-famous spot for migrating birds. I also share my home with almost 60,000 people. The Long Point World Biosphere Reserve was designated by UNESCO in 1986. We have rare Carolinian forests that only grow in this area and nowhere else in Canada. Some of the trees here are over 500 years old. Our beautiful heritage is a key part of our future economy. Please join me, Maya the Turtle, and let's start our journey together, and I'll show you some of the opportunities and challenges in my neighborhood. My beautiful habitat is one of the most important and fragile ecological areas in Canada. In 2018, the Government of Canada provided funding to protect my home and help take care of the rich biodiversity in the Long Point World Biosphere. They named us a priority place because we have the highest number of plants and animals in all of Canada, and there are major threats to our habitat. Me and many of my local friends are considered to be species at risk, as our populations are declining, and this is the only area where some of us still exist. We are fortunate that we have so many people living here who are always helping with our conservation.
The Long Point area has these core natural building blocks that we can build on. And by investing here, protecting those cores and building on them, restoring habitat to make them larger and more connected has really been the best investment.
For the past 20 years, my beautiful home has been invaded by Phragmites australis, which is a fast-growing, thick, tall grass. It has spread everywhere, by the roads and all through my marshes. Phragmites completely stops the growth of all the plants I have known all my life, making it impossible for me, my fellow turtles, and all other friends to move through the wetlands.
We're here in the Big Creek National Wildlife Area, and we're standing in a Phragmites stand. This is a European plant that is overtaking this area, and unfortunately the density of these stands is so significant that wildlife cannot survive. I do fear that our turtle species and many of our other wildlife species that use the Long Point Biosphere Reserve will be lost.
Once I get in about 10 meters, it's like a dead zone. There's no evidence of wildlife whatsoever. No scat, no track, no nests, or native plants at all.
Finally, in 2016, the caring people in my community sprayed the Phragmites using special land vehicles and helicopters. My habitat is now much easier for me to walk around, plants are growing again, and we hope people will continue to care for our home.
I've had the pleasure over the last couple of years to work with our partner, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, here in Norfolk County in the Long Point region. The areas of focus have been the Long Point region, the lower Big Creek area, and the Turkey Point Wetland Complex, where this year we treated in the Turkey Point Wetland Complex over 315 hectares of Phragmites stands with an herbicide that's been approved through a special registration from Health Canada. As part of the Integrated Pest Management Program, we not only apply the herbicide, though there are some important follow-up activities that we must undertake using specialized equipment for this work. In total, over the course of the late fall and the early winter, 265 hectares have been cut or rolled, and an additional 36 hectares were undertaken with a prescribed burn. These areas flourish now with wildlife as these dead stalks are out of the way, and these open water communities and emergent wetland communities are restored for the benefit of wildlife.
Our parents have always told us how dangerous the Long Point Causeway Road is for us to walk across. As many as 10,000 turtles, snakes, and frogs were being killed every year on this narrow road.
We were finding in some days multiple adult animals were being lost along the causeway. So this is devastating not only to turtle researchers, but to the population itself. Without large numbers of adult animals, you're going to have a population crash.
Thankfully, in 2008, the Long Point Causeway Improvement Project was formed to install over 5,000 meters of wildlife fencing and 12 culverts along the Causeway Road. This allowed my friends and I to move back and forth under the road safely. Thanks to the fencing and tunnels that were installed along the Long Point Causeway, road mortality of endangered reptiles has gone down almost 90%. This is the best news for me and my turtle, snake, and frog friends. However, we still need you to please watch for us on all the roads. The very important tall grasses that you see beside the forests and farms are also in danger. Tallgrass prairies are homes for bees and nesting birds. They also make the soil richer, clean our water and air, and keep our riverbanks strong. Mostly, they allow beautiful wildflowers to grow.
Prairie grasses are an integral part of this landscape. And it's really good to get these very large grasses to establish because they have very large rooting systems. They can reduce the amount of erosion and the environment can stabilize and soils can build and develop.
Occasionally, the lush green grasses that grow here need to be burned to make sure the invasive plants and trees don't take over. The new grasses naturally grow back quickly after the fire, and my home is safe and beautiful again in no time. Everywhere you look, rich farmlands surround my home, where farmers grow food for our communities. Unfortunately, farming can leave chemicals that leak into our rivers and lakes. My friends in Lake Erie have a problem with the type of green algae that is now growing in the water. But the good news, there is a group from Alternative Land Use Services Canada here to help our farmers. They are supporting natural soil and land use methods that help in protecting wildlife and our natural habitat.
Within the Biosphere Reserve, we have intensive agriculture next door to some of the most environmentally fragile areas in the whole country. And I think at Alice we recognize you still have to eat, and the food comes from the farms, but maybe we can give those marginal little fringes back to Mother Nature, and we'll continue our intensive agriculture on the prime stuff that's left over.
There are plenty of actions that you can take to protect, conserve, preserve, and restore my biosphere. This will help to make my habitat environmentally resilient and sustainable to support healthy and native biodiversity in this ecologically sensitive natural area. Remove invasive plants from your property. Plant our native species of plants on your property. Watch for turtles on the road. Join a community event. Support sustainable agriculture. Support the Long Point World Biosphere Reserve Foundation. And remember to share the word with your friends and family. All these actions put a smile on my face. Thanks for taking the journey with me, Maya the Blandings Turtle.